welcome to the show, Kalon Perry. Perrier.
Perrier, yes, sir.
Perrier.
Perrier.
That's right. I remember you
It's
saying
not
that.
it's not the French pronunciation Perrier.
Right. No, I'm in Oklahoma, so we Okified it a long time ago. Yeah, but a lot of Perrier over the years, so I'm cool with that. I wish I could get that Perrier water money, but maybe
I
maybe
was
some
just gonna say,
somewhere down
tap
the
into
road.
some of that.
You can do what they used to do back in the old days with that. You're like pull out the scroll. You're all like, look, see here.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is where my family came from. Down the line, Perrier water. Yeah, we're all in that line.
Yeah,
There
it's
you
got to
go.
be there somewhere.
So
How are you
welcome to the
guys
show.
doing?
It is
Thanks.
great to have you on. I know you actually. We started talking a little bit before, and
Yeah.
you started following us.
Hmm.
We started following you.
Uh-huh.
Then Nick and said from Nick from Grow the Sport said, "Hey, you
Sport,
need to
yeah.
have this guy on here." I was
Yeah.
all like, "Cool, all right." And then I reached out to you and said, "Hey, do you want to be on?" And here you
Perfect.
are.
Yeah, man,
And
I appreciate it.
yeah, definitely. And your company is Inspired Paintball.
Inspired
So
paintball.
before we get into that part,
Hmm.
and if you have watched the show, so you know what I'm about to say. So you were born, and then there was paintball. So let's hear everything else.
Ooh,
It's all you
born in
know.
paintball or start at paintball because that's the only important part, right? So I was born in Oklahoma.
Yes, that's the important part.
Grew up and discovered paintball. Yeah, no. So born in Oklahoma, started playing paintball. First time I went was in 1994. So been around a while.
About
I
the
think it
same
was
time as
actually
us, yeah.
yeah, first year that I think that the field opened here. It's pretty semi barren in Oklahoma when it comes to paintball. Although we have some pretty cool stuff. We used to have the D-Day Oklahoma, which was a huge scenario game, and
Remember that.
last summer was the last one, unfortunately, after 20 some years. But that was a record breaker for quite a while on number of players, stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, just to start out, it was 94. I went with a church group and um, was 14 years old and started playing. I played that weekend and literally went around at high school looking for other church groups that were going, and went the next weekend with a different church group and kind of bounced around with that, and a few different friends that really wanted to play, and I think I bought my first Stingray, Brass Eagle
Oh,
Stingray,
yes.
after the second time I played, and shot that little plastic junker and for a while, and I never had a lot of money, so it was one of those things where upgrade from that after a lot of saving money, and went to the Spider, and after a little while, after playing with the Spider for a while and playing a lot of scenario and rec stuff, then to the Automag seemed like a huge deal at the time. Automags and Cockers in the late 90s was, one or the other. I
Yep.
always, I could not, I loved the Cockers, but I was not good at shooting them. I was half cocking them all the time. And,
Short stroke.
yeah, short stroking those things. But yeah, I mean, really just hooked from the beginning. And I know, that's the way it is for a lot of people the very first time. If there's a lot of people that takes a little longer than others, but for me it was just the very first time. I know I didn't shoot anyone except for I shot one person after a lot of playing that very first day, but that was enough. And yeah, refed as in high school. There was a field that opened in my hometown, Bartlesville, and I refed as a teenager, and we got paid in paint, and did that whole
Nice.
thing, which was awesome. There was a group of us teenagers that were the refs, and we would play and then ref some games and get a little bit of paint and play a few games, and it was all woods ball pretty much at the time, rec ball
A lot of
stuff.
Mounds Fields, Hyperball,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hyperball. We had, more like the pallet type of speed. Our speed ball was the
Oh, yeah.
pallets and stuff like that
Sure.
because,
Oh, sure.
and then just moved into college, kept playing, actually helped to start the Oklahoma State University paintball team for the NCPA. And played. So I always like to joke and say that I get to say I was a college athlete because I played for OSU, traveling the country, went to Chicago and Georgia and a few different places around playing tournaments. So that was the early 2000s, and really shifted over into the tournament style stuff, and still played scenarios a lot. And the D-Day every year was a huge thing for a long time. I did that every year, was a big deal to go look forward to. And
That's something I've always had wanted to do, but obviously trying to get out to Oklahoma and then also paying for all that stuff, it was expensive.
oh yeah, there were
Lupe,
people that. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, Lupe, you're over more that way. Did you ever
Yeah,
go?
we always talked about going to it, and then in the last 5 years or so, well, my daughter, she's kind of a snob, so she does not like scenario players.
Gotcha.
So I couldn't talk her into doing it. So she's
Hey!
like, well, we got this tournament in Dallas we can go to instead. But I mean, I probably could have talked my wife into it. I mean, all I have to say is casino, and she would have said, "Yeah, sure."
Right.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, what was neat about Oklahoma D-Day was they had the scenario going, and then later on they actually put an airball field in the campsite area, so players that I mean, it became a huge thing, and thousands of people, and so people could play airball and not even ever go out and play the scenario if they didn't want to. I mean, I'm all about all of it. I love it all. So for me, I definitely wanted to get out there and play the big game, and get into all of the craziness. It's a 500-acre field. I mean, massive field with
huge,
thousands of players, towns, and just tanks and all kinds of cool stuff there. But so that's definitely something I recommend. Even if you are a tournament player, I think it's good to get out there and do all this stuff. It's fun.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's for the love of the sport. Ultimately, at the end of the day, and the nice thing about a lot of these like big games and scenario type stuff is that you kind of can play without that anxiety and that stress of God, we got to take this point, or we're not going to make it to play on Sunday. It's like you can just go out and be a goon and have
so much
fun.
Yeah.
So you really should have had her on instead of me if you're going to talk about this, because she was. I mean,
we got to convince her.
Yeah, she's going to watch this later, and she's going to look like a slot machine rolling her eyes.
Well, she's always welcome on anytime she wants. But
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Viper threw a big one down here at TXR, and that was the last one I went to, and it was really good. Wolf was there, and I played maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then I hung out and just hung around with people. That's one of the best things about these scenarios is the people,
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like tournament people for the most part.
Yeah. Paintball people in general, overall.
Right on.
It really is. I always say paintball people and river people. If you float rivers, they're always fun.
Well, I feel actually a lot closer to you, Kalon, now that you mentioned the Stingray, because whenever I mentioned that was my first marker, everyone's like, "The what?"
Yeah, what
I'm
is
like,
that?
"No, dude, it was a piece of crap. It was plastic.
Uh-huh.
It was great."
Yeah.
And when I
shot
fired
so many people with that piece of crap. Oh yeah, you could hear the metal.
Because they sleep on you. They think, look at this guy with his little.
Remember
forget it.
The barrel had like pins holding it in. It didn't even screw in.
Yeah,
that's true.
And you had to undo that, and it had a plastic cover over the barrel. It was crazy.
Yeah,
I wrapped that thing with camis, and I was a sniper with that, dude. I shot plenty of people with the Stingray.
That's awesome.
Well, you had to be a sniper because it was like one shot, and then you're like, "Dude, I got to get out of here." Everybody heard.
It did have that very distinct noise.
Thing kicked like a like a desert eagle too.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad I'm in good company here with the fellow old schoolers that have been through the hard times.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Which, by the way, I wanted to say, like, been really impressed and just feel honored to be on here for one, but with Bud Orr and Fred Schultz being on the show,
Right.
I mean, legends that a lot of people need to really know that history. I mean,
oh, absolutely.
I met Bud Orr in probably 97 or 98 at D-Day, at Oklahoma D-Day, and uh, just blew my mind because like meeting a celebrity to me, I'm like, this is the dude, the autococker dude, and what's funny though is later on I thought I had mixed up my history, and I was like, yeah, I've met Bob Long, and I would tell people I met Bob Long and it was Bud Orr the whole time. And I'm like, but I actually finally did meet Bob Long back in the PSP days. But
okay, so it wasn't a total lie.
No, we got there eventually.
Yeah. So to kind of divert back on to the real reason why we're here talking with you, Kalon. So tell us a little bit about Inspired Paintball. I think the one thing that stands out, especially for me, that I've seen ever since I came across your Instagram, is your slogan, your catchphrase, which is "Be inspired." So tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind Inspired Paintball.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting how life works, and I'm gonna kind of do a little history lesson just real quick. But like back in college, whenever I'm an art major, and whenever I was in college and being such a big part of the OSU Paintball Association and stuff like that, I mean, it was just that was my whole world, was art and paintball. And whenever I was doing like college level, like we would have, those kind of classes that were preparing you for outside of graduating
for the real world.
Yeah, for the real world. And one of the assignments was to choose a company, or to kind of pretend that you were interviewing for and preparing your resume for and all of that stuff. And mine was Dye at the time, and that was because I had been working on this idea for like a paintball apparel company at the time, even back then. And now, I mean, this is what, over 20 years later, certain things are starting to come to fruition. But a lot of it came out of just the love of paintball. Never, it always being there for me in a way. Like I can kind of almost get a little philosophical with this, or even a little emotional about it to some extent, because whenever I started coming to, I played from 94 to 2007 solidly, constantly. 2007, 2008 was the recession. My local team, we were winning tournaments here in Oklahoma, but the recession just really hit hard the paintball industry in general, but also here in Oklahoma. I mean, like, fields dried up. My teammates are like, it's not worth it. And I was like, why are you guys ruining my life? I still want to play paintball. But then, life takes over. I became a teacher, so I focused on my teaching. I taught for 13 years in elementary school. Still paid attention, but kind of just didn't play. And it's sad, but my heart was always there, right? But I know a lot of people in this past 5 or 6 years, where a lot of people are coming back after these little gaps like that.
Yep.
And after 13 years of a relationship that I was in, got a divorce, and the very first thing I did was go start playing paintball again. And it just that was prior to the idea of Inspired Paintball, but the idea was, like, in retrospect, was every time I need to feel inspired, I play paintball. Or if something's difficult in life, you go play paintball. Everything washes away. And so it was just kind of this idea of, like, coming out of kind of some dark times or some rough times and getting back into paintball, which really, always is something that can just benefit everyone in so many different ways, from fun to the competitive to the tournaments,
absolutely.
all these different things, right? So, paintball was always there. I got back into it, and then COVID hits after a few years, and I'm like, okay, now I'm working from home. I was in a new marriage that was not going well, and I'm not trying to air my dirty laundry or make this
No,
like
you're good.
like a Freudian. What am I trying to say? Like
a Freudian slip.
Yeah, but it was just really hard time during that marriage, and so I started, and that's when I got on Instagram, and I was looking at all these inspirational quotes, following all these inspirational quotes. So I started sharing those on my Instagram, and then I'd play paintball and I'd share something that was paintball related. And then I'd share an inspirational quote and then something paintball related. And then I started looking back at my Instagram, and it was just like inspired paintball. It was, it kind of just made sense. Like, the whole idea is not just about paintball, and it definitely is for me and for all of us that care about paintball, is to be inspired. But it's really about being inspired to do what you want to do in life, and that's where I'm at right now, trying to build this company. And I am in the very, very early stages, so I appreciate the letting me come on here and kind of promote it. But
Oh no,
we have these visions of something that we can do with things we're passionate about, and paintball is something that, as you all know, and everyone that's into paintball, you just see so much passion, inspiration in them. And as much as it is a small niche thing, there's so much energy and so much benefit, you know, not only physically but mentally, and like we talked about earlier, just with scenarios and meeting people and all kinds of different people. Just this idea of like, just be inspired. So I'd always say, like, be inspired, play paintball, and then on occasion it might be inspired something else. But it's just combining things that I love and things that have helped me, and hoping to do, help to pass that on, make that something that inspired paintball is not only a paintball centric, but something that inspires other people to do what they want to do in life as well.
I love it.
And I'm working toward that, and it's not easy. I mean, I am in the early stages. Money wise, I basically haven't made hardly any money. I give most of everything away right now, and it's all just to try to get the word out. And if nothing ever comes of it, which of course I hope it does, but I'm just going to keep doing it, because it's about spreading that love of the game of paintball, and that positive impact that it has on our lives, because it literally is, I would say, saved my life in certain ways as far as coming out of difficult times.
Oh, sure. And
Yeah.
I hear very similar things to to a lot of people who have had a similar kind of a similar goal, in that paintball has done a lot for them. They want to give back to the sport in whatever way they can. And the one thing that kind of caught my eye when I initially started, because I actually came across your Instagram before we started the show, and so I was like, this is really cool. And I look and I noticed that that you've actually already done some, what I think was a leather flask cover for one of the DMG guys.
Yeah. So
and I was blown away. That leather work is not easy, and that came out really good. Well, like, I have to give you props, man. That looks really nice.
Yeah. So that was also, as far as products and stuff like that. So the whole Instagram thing was just kind of like, well, I'm doing Instagram, doing this kind of for me, and then hoping to pass something along. So then the idea of like, well, this could become a company, and kind of going back to that whole thing of like, well, 20 some years ago, I was talking about wanting to start a paintball company. Why can't I do that? And why can't I kind of come back around to some of those ideas mixed with new ideas? And in that between time, I had started doing leather work about 8 years ago, probably. Kind of, I'm a pretty big nerd. There's lots of comic book stuff back here, and I was got into the Renaissance.
We were going to talk about that off air. I see Thor back there, so we were going to be like, all right, there's one more reason why we really like the Kalon, because
you're in good company.
Well,
cool.
You were in great company.
There we go. Yeah, this is my office.
King among kings.
Yeah, paintball comics.
He's got some Punisher related back there too.
Wait, what? Where's it at?
Oh yeah, I've got a Punisher.
It's hard for me to see on this thing. Wolverine.
Below that's Deadpool. There's Punisher, Batman. There is a Wolverine above the Batman. Wolverine's my favorite of all time. Some X-Men stuff over. I can't point correctly. Somewhere there's Thor. Over there. There's X-Men. Yeah, but so, and that's part of my art background too. I was just always into comics and art, and done some illustration stuff myself. I'll put some of that on Instagram, show you guys, because
I'd love to see it. Yeah,
some pretty cool stuff there. But
we might have to talk, because there is another project that we are currently in the works of that has to do with comics. So I'm just gonna put that out there.
Awesome. Yeah, I've definitely loved that whole crossover. There's some things there that I think, for some reason, I feel like there's some paintball and comic book fans tend to cross over at times, and nerds in general. But that kind of got me on back onto the whole, leather work thing. Was I started going to Renaissance Fair when I was teaching. I'd take the students, and then I was like, wow, this looks really actually kind of fun. And so then I started taking friends outside of school, and then we're like, this is going to be way more fun if we dress up. And so then I started doing leather work to make stuff for my, my outfit. And so I had done that, and I did a lot of kind of comic book related stuff, some flasks with like Punisher logo and different characters and stuff like that, about 5 or 6 years ago. And then, so then I was like, well, okay, I want to do something with leather work while I'm, trying to come up with ideas for products and stuff like that. And so I came up with the barrel wrap, or what we call I say we, as if I like to pretend like I'm this giant corporation, but really it's just all just me. I make everything
behind you. Yeah.
So we here at Inspired Paintball make wraps, which are all just handmade. But this is an example of one that I put on. This is one of the early kind of prototypes for my personal marker or whatever, and they're all they're leather. Kind of originally had them to where they were sewn, but that was like really difficult to get. The idea of sending them to someone and then having them be able to like figure out how to stitch them back on. So I came up just with this simple O-ring idea where you can easily take them off and put them on, change them out, type of thing. And every one of these I've done so far, I've given away. I've had some guys that wanted them for different teams, and it's something that hasn't taken off big time, but I think there's some potential there. Either way, I think just customization. There's no practical application for it, but
there is
expression of creativity.
There is, I think, because a lot of the barrels that are out now, like the freak kits, and they have windows in the side of the barrel, so this helps to cover it up so you're not getting paint inside your barrel.
There we go. That's exactly the reason I created it.
But you're good. That's a good. Yeah.
But yeah,
not to mention that would probably be easier to grip when you're pulling them apart.
Yeah. I mean, as far as taking it off and putting it on, I mean, the idea was, kind of, luckily a fellow Okie, which you ought to have on the show, is the Tank Dangle guy. He might be that was another. For us. Say that again.
I said he might be too big for us.
Oh no. I guarantee you'd come on.
But, if y'all have me on, then I'm like the Joan Rivers to Johnny Carson.
Exactly, yeah. but yeah, that kind of additional, decorative, something that's just kind of customizing your marker and stuff like that. And I've got other ideas for some leather products, possibly. The other thing, and I've talked to Rocky Cagnoni about this in Dallas, at the Dallas event this year, and it was kind of one of those things of like leather, right? Like in a car, like leather is like this high end kind of classy thing. And so I was like, no one does anything with leather on a paintball marker. So like I said, I've got some other ideas of possibilities to do some products that are more, in other parts of the marker or whatever, that are kind of like, ooh, mine, I have leather on my marker, not just so that's kind of the idea. And also they're all 100% custom made, so they're kind of like the early Hormesis stuff, in the sense that it's very limited. It's no one else is going to have those right now. Nothing's mass produced. Now eventually, you never know, but right now it's all handmade stuff. And you talked about the flasks, so then I'm a big fan of Play the Game podcast and a member of the Goat Squad, right? The Goat members that they have, and they have a giveaways. So I just was like, I'll give away this flask, and then I just started making those. And so I've made Dynasty flasks for people, the DMG one, Thunder, Houston Heat, and all of these I've given away. But yeah, it's just something fun, and I like to create things, and there's kind of a craftsmanship and art, background with, like I said, with just liking to create things. And so that's kind of where all of that came from, which then turned into, okay, well, now I can make some shirts, so this is just kind of I call them prototype shirts, because they're all, I create the designs, but then I just print them.
I love that though. It's so
I love
fitting.
it too. The stickers are awesome.
Yeah, the stickers. So I'm gonna give these away at Cup. Just be given. I just gonna go around and hand those out. But be inspired, play paintball.
I will trade you what I have. So I've got
man.
Destiny Kids. I got Destiny.
I'm always
Lupe. It almost sounds like you're gonna trade one of the kids for his.
If that's the case, I got one you can have.
You can have my
Well, no, I'm a big fan of Destiny, because I know you guys had B on when I was looking back through some of your older episodes, B Young, Paxton,
she's been on with us a couple of times.
Yeah, and she, I know is a big part of Destiny, obviously, and I call her she's my favorite person in paintball, honestly. And I tell her that every time I see her, and she's like, no, you're joking. I'm like, no, you really are. Like, she inspires me, and she's such a huge part of paintball. And that kind of goes back to what I did last year, when I kind of started this ball rolling this year with Inspired Paintball. Is I made these little zipper pulls or keychains, and I went around to my favorite pros, people that and other people in the paintball industry that have inspired me, and gave these out, and gave her one, because I couldn't find her for a while. And but yeah, I just love connecting with all the people in paintball, and the amount of inspiration that they've all given to me, and your guys' show, and things like this. I think paintball is in such an amazing place, and I hope and believe that it will continue to grow, and we'll get there, and we don't have to be the NFL. I don't think that's ever, as far as the tournament side and the NXL. I love the NXL. I don't think we have to have that as the goal. But obviously we all want people to make money playing pro and all of that, but the community is really what is the biggest part of paintball.
Oh, sure. Well, of course.
Plain and simple.
Course. This is one of the best communities on the planet, is the paintball community by far that I've ever been involved in.
Plain and simple. Yeah. It really is true. And there's always going to be someone in a group of any interest that can be negative or hard to deal with or whatever, but overall that's not the case in paintball.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Really quick. Hi, Mike. he said hi, guys. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
All right. I don't know Mike, but Hey, hi.
Hey, Mike.
See, again, I mean, that's the really cool thing about this, being able to finally live stream, because, you went back and dug through and listened to some of our older episodes, which we had the goal of getting it to this point, which is now we're live. Now we actually connect with everybody, which is really cool. Well, we don't have that many on right now. Earlier we had more, but the fact is, if it wasn't for us to finally go live like this, we wouldn't have met Lupe. Even though we met Haley, we wouldn't have met Lupe or met you or met Nick, who pointed us to you.
Or I mean, we've made some. We've expanded our contacts, so to speak. Our friends. We have a much larger circle of friends since doing this. And the one thing that I thought was really cool was just the fact that one person, Nick, again, he did us a huge favor and posted up something on his Instagram, and Kalon reached out to us. We've got a gentleman from Germany who is going to be on the show soon. He's talking about the state of paintball in Germany.
And then when it was not just Nick, but then Ben saw it and he reposted that.
And it, yeah.
Now he's pointing to a person that's in Australia. Huge in the paint. It's like, dude, this is awesome. But the cool thing about this is that, Dennis is a vet tech. Lupe, what do you do?
Oh, I just listen to a random podcast and try to jump on.
And he rides around on his one-wheel board that he got as a midlife crisis.
No, I'm an automation designer, and mostly oil and gas here in Houston. Engineering. There's a simple answer.
So, so Dennis, vet tech, Lupe, engineer, you're a teacher, we all have different backgrounds, but the one thing that we have in common is paintball, and how we all can really relate with, like, it's almost like, I don't want to compare it to the military, but it is kind of that subculture to a subculture. And we have that all in common, no matter what our background is. And it's really cool that we can actually talk. And now, look, we just got a new person that came on, Mike, and he's saying that, it's a super supportive community. It really is a super supportive community.
Oh, yeah.
And you
can go to the field and find a lawyer, and you can find a guy that works at a Jack in the Box. Yeah. And everybody's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that to go back to kind of just even the paintball industry, we've all been around long enough to know the old infighting and the battles between the companies and corporations and who's going to get the most money and who's going to get onto TV and all of that stuff. And I feel like, business is business, but it feels like everyone's there to support each other. And I think that, I don't know how much you guys pay, attention to Alex Frazier and Oliver with what they're doing with Hormesis and stuff like that. But I mean, that's the Alex Frazier just through, a few times in person, but mostly, of here and there on Instagram and stuff is, a huge supporter of little guys like me and hoping that we do well. And they're not, no one's out to just squash everyone. And I hope that stays the way it is. And that, like I said, I understand business is, competitive, but we can all do better when we all do better, and support each other.
Oh yeah, of course. Although it doesn't hurt that there's really basically only, three major brands now, because
well,
there's one company that owns, GI Sports is, Empire and all these JT and various things like that. So
it's ready to be one less too.
With the big ones. The big ones for sure.
But that's where, like, your companies like yours and Nick and even, Ben and all these other guys that we've been meeting and talking to,
even Alex and Ollie with Hormesis. I mean, they're still technically a small company.
And Yosh with Yosh and those guys.
Field One. Exactly.
It's great to see all that's coming out of it, but of course, we definitely would love to have those outside, like we always talk about, those outside companies that come in
to
help us even grow more into
Right.
something bigger and get this sport to, unlike a buddy of mine who says paintball's for old dudes that, just want to try to relive the old days and bring back a dead sport. It's like, this never really died, first of all.
Or play war games.
Yeah, or play war games, that too. It's another one. Trust me, I don't want to dress up back in my stinking uniform and get out there in the field with all kinds of gear on. No.
Well, and there are so many varieties, and there's some people maybe doing that, and that's fine. But like overall, it's just so many different variations, and I just still am mind blown about how little some people know about paintball, and it's just mind blowing to me. Like I don't understand how there's so much ignorance about what it is, but we'll get there. And in the meantime, I mean, the smallness of it is what is something we'll all kind of miss eventually if it gets huge, because I love being able to talk to Alex Frazier in person, a hero of mine, Oliver Lang, some of these people, as a matter of fact, every single paintball hero of mine I've met in person, talked to them in person, and I wouldn't be able to do that in other huge sports. You don't have that access.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's a good blessing for us for right now to really appreciate that. And just, we all want to make money and we want paintball to grow for sure, but let's be thankful for what we've got too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, definitely thankful for this community and just everything that we are able to do, and that those pro players are still relatable and approachable, but also seeing how people like Lupe, who's bringing up the next generation of players and teaching them the proper way to play and the sportsmanship. And then, yes, Lupe, you're doing a good job.
It kills me, Lupe. You're so humble about it too, because you've played a huge part in the sport, and you won't even like take credit for it.
I do what I do. At the end of the day, I'm just a really good guy that knows how to fill pods.
We just got to get your daughter out onto a rec ball field and tell her, hey, you got to play. Go back to the roots. This is where it all begins.
I've raised 2 paintball monsters now. One of them is just taking his break, and then the other one is, well, y'all know the story with her. So yeah.
Well,
but yeah, from one generation to the next. Yeah. So she leaves Friday. Thursday, she's got to get her nails done and her eyebrows done before she plays. That's her ritual. Yeah. Never would have thought that in paintball, right? She's like, well, they're always taking pictures of my hands when I'm on the field. Excuse me.
Okay.
Who's taking pictures of her hand? What are they taking pictures of?
Yes, and everybody comments, wow, look at your nails.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so you got to keep those compliments coming.
Exactly. Well, and I mean, her marker doesn't help. I don't know, Kalon, if you've ever seen her marker, but she has an LV16 that has a custom ammo with the Lilo and Stitch on it.
Oh no! Oh, maybe I have seen that online.
It is a really. I'm not going to lie. It's a sick gun.
It's really a beautiful gun.
I love.
It's a beautiful.
I do like Stitch and everything, but it is. Yeah, it's an amazing gun. But
although speaking of beautiful LV16s, is that your Merlot LV that I saw?
Who?
Or is that somebody else's?
Who are you talking to?
Kalon.
No, not me.
Okay, maybe it was somebody who I found through yours that they posted up an LV16. It's a Merlot anodized, and that's a choice marks right there.
That sounds nice. Yeah.
Oh, look at that! We've got bots in the chat.
Yeah, I just got rid of that. Oh my gosh, seriously, it's like
that was great.
I'm like, well, do you guys want to see my hot pictures? Because I mean, I got those too. Come on, people, get out of here. Anyways, all right. You know what? We have gone an hour and a half which is actually we haven't gone this long in a while, which is actually really cool.
we haven't. But I wanted to make sure that we gave Kalon plenty of time to actually talk about
definitely
Inspired and give him a chance to tell the world about what he's doing and what his kind of basically what his goals are with Inspired.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And I mean, there's more that I definitely would like to talk about maybe in the future or whatever. Definitely got some big things in mind. The whole idea of Inspired and the light bulb logo is I'm kind of an idea guy, and I'm trying to. I've got a guy working on a pretty big project, an engineer friend of mine that I'm hoping will be come to fruition and be something new and different in paintball. Not going to give anything away, but it's not a gun, although that would be pretty cool. But I'm, cool. It's all about that. It is about being inspired and dreaming big. And even if it doesn't come around, just having the ideas and inspiring each other. And then another one is a big event that I've started plugging here and there called the World Paintball Expo that I definitely would like to maybe talk to you guys about even outside of this show and then work on some ideas for that in the future, because I've got a pretty massive idea for that I've been working on with several people. But money's always the issue to try to get something going. So, but I know we can do it.
That's where yeah, but that's where the outside sponsors can come into play. That's the type of stuff that, to be able to get these things going. But you know what? For now, Kalon, we are going to let you go, but hold on tight. Lupe, as always, love having you on.
Lupe, you'll be at World Cup?
Yeah, I get in Thursday or Tuesday because you'll just see a blur of me. So just look for this.
All right, I'll try to catch you at some point.
Between the Pro Girls line, the Destiny Kids line, and AC Kids. So, but yes, I definitely want to meet you. I'll be out there.
Me too. I'll be there the whole time.
Stickers.
Perfect.
And then I guess I'll see you. Oh yeah, you're not going, but.
Oh,
dude,
salt in the wound.
I have a kid that didn't go last year for AC Kids, and he was so ticked that you accidentally say stuff like, "Man, you remember that time at cut?" Oh yeah, been doing that all year. I was doing this Sunday, and he's like, I can't wait for that joke to be over in 2 weeks. And I'm like, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm like, hey, remember the year before last?
Oh man, but that's still
a blast.
Oh, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to.
It's going to be a blast. Y'all two are definitely going to miss it. So.
Yeah,
I know.
I get to watch pro games, and I'm gonna be playing 10-man, so that'll be fun.
Oh,
nice. Very nice, very nice.
Well, it was great having Inspired on, and now I'm.
Now you're.
Before we let you go, Kalon. So sorry. So you said right now you're still kind of in the infancy of Inspired in terms of products and things like that. Do you have a website already set up? Do you want to plug anything?
The only thing I have right now is my inspired_paintball on Instagram, and that's kind of what I'm just sticking with until I don't want to launch something and it not be ready to go, as far as a website and stuff like that. And so
that's a really nice Dragon Timmy.
Oh yeah, it's back there I've got it right back here.
I used to have a blue one like that, and I really regret selling it.
Yeah, there's my Dragon Timmy. I can't figure out the backwards camera thing, but yeah.
Beautiful.
Love that.
God, I wish I still had mine.
But just inspired_paintball on Instagram for right now.
Perfect. All right. Well, you heard it here, guys. Inspired_paintball on Instagram. Check out Kalon. Support him in his goals, and hopefully we'll start to see those inspired barrel covers and things like that.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. This is a lot of fun for me. Anytime you want me on, let me know.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
Love to have
definitely. Yeah.
Right. Nice to meet you.
Nick wanted to say something. really quick.
Oh, nice. An all blue one.
Nice.
That's what I had.
All right, guys. Definitely, I'm going to let you guys go. Sit tight though, because we will be back with you guys on. So you guys, again, check him out on his Instagram. He actually was. I was looking through it as we were talking, and there's some really cool things that he makes. So, Kalon, it was great having you on. Lupe, always great having you on.
Okay.
Really, I mean it. I truly mean it from the bottom of my heart. But all right,
it's true, Lupe. You really are one of the most fun.
I mean, I'm no Ryan Greenspan or nothing, but I'm.
All right, we're gonna let you guys go, and for the rest of you guys, we'll be right back.